Good morning again, everyone. My name is Archibald Gordon. I am Director of Marketing and Communications here at the Caribbean Maritime University. And thank you so much for joining us for episode 4 of the Getting Ready series. Today, we're talking all about, mental health, how you prepare for university life, how you deal with different kinds of challenges. And I am pleased this morning to welcome Triple T, as I call her, Tina Turner Thomas, the University Counsellor, who will be guiding you through some of the different kind of strategies that you can use this morning. Now, before we start, just a couple of housekeeping matters. I should tell you that there are members of the different teams, as usual, who are in this meeting. Several people from the Office of Student Affairs. You heard a member of faculty earlier, so that's a member of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology. Please mute your mics and check your microphones, please. Right. Yeah, so there are members of the Faculty of Engineering and Applied Technology here, members of the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, members of the Faculty of Shipping and Logistics, and the School of Graduate Studies and Research. As I said, they're representatives of the University Registrar, under which the Office of Student Affairs falls. University Registrar / University Administration. So that's everything from the Secretariat to the Exams Department to the Student Affairs Department as well. Office of Marketing and Communications, Office of the President, everybody is here. And representatives of the Office of the Treasury as well. So a lot of people are here to answer the questions that you have. So from a housekeeping perspective, you can ask questions as you go along. We do hope as well, though, that you try to pay as much attention as possible to the presentation. We don't spend a lot of time talking or thinking about mental health. And although we talk about it, a lot of people don't take it very, very seriously, but it is quite a serious matter. It's quite a serious matter, and all of us have different kind of struggles as we go through. University life is not easy. It is quite a transition from the high school system where your teachers are constantly behind you. This is not that kind of system. This is much more self-directed as it prepares you for the working world and, just the world of life overall. In the world of life, no one's going to be paying your bills for you or telling you when. The JPS will tell you when your bills are due, but they won't force you to come and pay it. So this is really practice for living life. And that means that it has a different set of challenges. So we wanted to listen to TTT this morning. If you have questions as you go along, you can leave them in the chat. After we've had the presentation, we'll also have an opportunity to ask questions. And again, I'm reminding for those of you who have been to the previous sessions, I've been asking for a lot of patience for us because it's the same set of people. The lecturers are the ones who mark, they're the ones who run the department. They're the ones who are, reviewing the curriculum to ensure that it is up to scratch, especially the leadership. The members of the Office of Student Affairs are the ones who are communicating with you here this morning. They're the ones in registration. They're the ones in the office doing, anything from sorting out boarding applications to dealing with student matters, to discussing mental health, to dealing with scholarships, to dealing with sports. It's a lot of work. We're asking you to remember that as you are, as you are interacting with us, that there's a lot going on. So if you have not heard from us, or you've heard and the communication might be a little spotty in places, it's one of the reasons we wanted to bring everybody together in this space so that you could talk to us, you can hear from us, and you can get as many answers as possible in this space. Because as you can imagine, the admission process is very intensive. It involves a lot of different kinds of steps, and it's the same set of people who are involved in a lot of different kind of processes. So we want you here with us at the CMU. It's why we've set up these sessions. It's why we're on the road. It's why you see advertisements from us all about the place. It's why we come to your school. We want you here at the CMU. So if you are having any trouble getting in contact with us, it is not because we don't want you at the CMU. So we're just asking you to bear that in mind and to exercise a little patience as you give us some time to get back to you to sort out all of the matters to ensure that your journey here is great. So having said that, I'm going to hand over to TTT. As I said, you can leave your questions in the chat, and there'll be somebody from some department who will answer you. And if they cannot answer you, they'll find the person who will answer you. And then in addition, at the end of the presentation, you can ask questions about the presentation, and you can ask about any matter at all. We'll open the floor for those questions. You can put them in the chat, and you can also just open your microphone and use the raise hand feature and ask questions as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to TTT, Tina Turner Thomas, for the presentation today. And then after that, I will be back on camera to take your questions. All right, I'm starting with a poll. So over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me loud and clear?
Yes, hearing you loud and clear.
Beautiful. So there's a poll in the chat. I would love for you all to just go ahead and respond. How are you starting CMU, or how are you doing at the moment? I'm trying to share my slide. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful. I have no idea why it took so long to come up. Okay, I'm still waiting on the results of the poll. Keep sharing, everyone. So I am excited to share with you today about emotional readiness. And as we are currently doing right now, we're checking in to see how are we currently surviving whatever it is that we are going through at the moment. Beautiful. So let's just get on with that. So apologies for that. I know not what happened just now. So we started out looking at what are the things that we are carrying into this semester as it relates to whether we are thriving or not. So far, some persons are not quite sure where they are, and that's okay. I love the honesty, because we don't want any fabricated answers to really steer you from getting the support or the self-awareness that you need from this activity. And thus, starting out today's session, it's really about you understanding where you are, what kind of support you need, and how to prepare yourself moving forward from where you are currently. So on my screen, you may see this picture of individuals with different sizes of backpacks. So some may have a tiny one, in between, and a little bit larger. Now, each individual who's online right now, some of you are carrying different things in your backpack. It could be assignments, it could be financial stress, it could be family responsibilities, it could be relationships, you could be grieving past, present, or anticipating the future, as well as uncertain as to what is it you are going to be expecting. Whatever they are, these are things that you need to come to terms with in terms of how are you managing these? How are you responding to them? Are you ignoring it? Or is it that you are doing your best in terms of getting the support, getting clarity in terms of how do you deal with this? So when you receive this presentation, I want you to get an empty backpack, and I want you to place at least 5 or 6 heavy objects in there and put that backpack on your back. Now, when you hold on to that backpack, I want you to think of it as this is the things that you are going to be owning, the things that you are going to be carrying with you throughout this semester, or maybe throughout your first year. Now, it may be visible, it may be something that you are feeling, and it is also something that others may not see that you are carrying, but you are carrying it. And you're the only one who can understand thoroughly what is it that I am carrying on my back? How did each of these fall into my backpack? And how long have I been, really carrying this on my back? And as I said earlier, you may see it, you may feel it, but coming into CMU, your lecturers may not see it. Students Affairs may not know that you are carrying this. Your friends, whoever it is, your roommate or your housemate, maybe even your family may not know that you are carrying these things on your backpack or on your back. Now, it's not about saying what is right or doing what is right. Emotional readiness starts with self-awareness. And as you can look at the poll that recently has, gone, a number of you are unsure. And maybe along the way, you thought that you were probably the only person that's not sure of what to expect or is not sure how to move along or to get yourself in the right frame of mind to begin university. And the poll is just to show you that you are not alone. And the circumstances through which that you may be coming into the CMU with is not unique to you only, but others may be having this situation too as well. So whatever, wherever you fell or you were on that particular poll, just know that you belong in this conversation, and that is why we are having it. Now, the reality that nobody posts about university. So maybe you go on Instagram and you know a few friends that may be in university and they show you all the good stuff. Probably you like to party. Maybe they're receiving a lot of awards. Maybe they're group leaders or class leaders. Maybe they're presidents for clubs or different societies. But what they don't tell you is, how often they may have to, miss sleep or being stressed out or didn't think that they were good enough or thought that they would have made it this far, or they thrive on trying to find the support for paying fees or getting exams done or whatever the expense that they may have attached to them. And they may not have told you about the many times that they have had the fear of failure. Sometimes we look at social media highlight reels and it shows all of these nice things, but it doesn't show you all the things that it took to get all of these nice things. What I want you to understand is that don't compare your journey or don't begin to set your journey on the standard that, I want to be like this. Yes, it's good to aspire after great things, but you must be realistic in terms of knowing what you can manage and how best to measure yourself according to this. Because when you do that to yourself, you will be comparing yourself with other people's behind the scene footage that they don't show. And I want to tell you that comparisons are never fair. It's not fair to you because no two persons are alike, not even twins. And so you must be honest about where, what, how you're going to do this and take it in your strides. Now, by the end of this hour, I expect that you will get some self-awareness by recognizing your emotional warning signs. Name what you are feeling. Uncertainty has a background. It has a footing somewhere else. And there are things that are there lingering, not just today, probably 2 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, that is causing you to feel that where you're going, there's a level of uncertainty with this. And so we want you to be able to name what you are feeling. When you understand what you're feeling, it makes coping, dealing, and gaining the support easier because you will know exactly where you need to go. Also, for you to get some tools about, how to reset your nervous system and, be able to cope, as well as mapping connections. Where are your support network here at school and at home and otherwise? And also for you to start from now, to take that one right step that can aid you for your journey to come. So what is emotional readiness? It's being prepared to meet pressure with awareness and to make healthy choices. A lot of persons are not aware that sometimes the things they use to cope make matters worse. And it is at the point when they are not able to go on or continue, they realize how much they have put into making their situation more challenging. So let's talk about triggers. Triggers are anything that will cause you to respond in a manner that move you from point A, where you are more rational, to point Z, where you are completely irrational and respond to nothing constructive. So if you know that a certain smell causes you to have hyperventilation, you start to panic, maybe you are gasping, things like that. And these are on the milder end that I'm sharing. Maybe it's a person or persons. Maybe it's a group of people. What are the things that cause you to either get angry, upset, lose your character and not represent yourself well? These are things you need to keep in check. And if you're not aware of what they are, that is something that is worth working on from now. Another thing is what calms you. What state do you need to be in? What atmosphere, what sort of company would you need to be a part of that can help you to calm down whenever something would have triggered you? In addition to that, how do you manage stress? And stress is not always something that is bad. Stress can be good stress, which we call eustress. That's EUSTRESS. Eustress is what we use as what you'd call it, motivation. Many times persons use it, to keep pushing and going, but distress, that's the stress that says that, hey, something is wrong, you're not motivated, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're not eating, you're not sleeping, you're not concentrating, your relationship with your parents, your friends, your schoolmates, your roommates are terrible because of this situation. That is distress, which is the negative form of that. What would you need to do to be able to manage this better before it gets to the point that you cannot support yourself? Another thing is, how do you adapt to changes? A lot of persons thrive on routine and things being the same way over time. And when things change, they are a little bit discombobulated. Their whole mannerism or way that they operate or try to operate has now been disrupted. As earlier shared by Director Archibald Gordon, that university lifestyle is not high school. You don't just go to your classes and you get information shared all the time. You will be expected to read for your degree. You are expected to go do the research and try to be ahead of your classes, and you won't have one class today. Sometimes you may have two, you may have three. It all depends, but you are supposed to be now transitioning into managing yourself and your time and your resources. Also, living with other people. You're accustomed to living at home with your siblings, or maybe you're an only child. Maybe you are accustomed to living at a boarding institution. Maybe this has never been your situation and you are wondering, how is this going to work out for you? Additionally, how to ask early. A lot of times, university students wait until the appointed time that you know that exams are tomorrow. It is today that you started to sort out whether you need to study, whether you need to find out about your examination card, or you need to find out about whatever fees if you are financially cleared. These are things that you will get information way ahead of the appointed time as to when things are going to happen. If you know all your ducks are not in a row, this is where you need to go get information. Do not wait until you need to, execute. That is when you are going to be running all over the place. Remember this, your emergency may not be somebody else's emergency, and they may not respond to you in that like manner because there may be other persons who may have the same challenge that you have and need support as well. And in addition to that, when things don't go according to plan, how do you bounce back? Do you just throw your hands in the air and say, you know what, this is it? University is not for me. May I go back on my yard, go sit down, or may I go get a job? Do you have the fortitude to say, you know what, I will not give up on myself. I will keep going no matter what the circumstance. If I've tried this way and it doesn't work out, then I'll just try another way. Another thing is, how do you communicate and set boundaries? A lot of people don't know what boundaries are, and in an effort to build relationships, open the door to receive just about anything that people do to them. People call you certain names, they use your things, and you allow it because you don't want to. And these are just mild examples. How do you say, assertively the things that you value without, being disrespectful to other people or, getting your points across? And these are all what encompasses, and it's not limited to these, but in the interest of time, these are some of the major ones as it relates to your emotional readiness and your success here at CMU. So let us look at the story of Jordan. Now, Jordan is not a single person. Jordan is every student who wants to attend CMU. He may have 3 assignments due in 1 week, maybe on the same day, who knows? He's surviving on what he can afford. Maybe his budget for the month is extremely small because he has to rely on his mom, and his mom may not be someone who is earning 3 figures in a month. His mom could be just a domestic helper, or maybe she's a vendor, or maybe it's just his dad. It's not limited to what I have on the screen here, but your support could be sibling related. It could be from an agency. Wherever you're getting the support, it may not be enough to carry you. But because of this, it's on your mind. You're worried about your fees and you're not getting enough sleep. I should have also added that maybe you're not even eating breakfast, or you eat randomly, depending on when you are able to get something. Now, I want you to understand that depending on the circumstances that you are going, you must know that you need to know how to treat with these particular circumstances before they become things you cannot manage anymore, especially as it relates to stress versus crisis. Stress is, as I just mentioned, it's a normal part of life, but it is more so when a demand is placed upon the body. And when a demand is placed upon the body, it responds in different way. Each individual, for each individual, it may look differently. Some people may internalize while others externalize. And when you do this, you get to the point where you need to understand if something feels wrong, who do I go to? How do I get the support I need in order to prepare or to deal with whatever challenges that I am having? And sometimes, and as you may see here, Jordan knew ahead of time that he has all of these assignments. He know his budget in terms of what he can or can't do. And this is where he would need to plan strategically in order to manage himself better. So when you are able to look at what is going on in your life, when you become self-aware, it helps you to say, okay, I know that this is my budget. What kind of support am I going to need? Would I need support in terms of lunch at the university? Would I need support in the form of an earn and learn responsibility? Would I need to find a part-time job? Would I need to help tutor somebody to gain some more support? What is it that I would need to do? Because when you don't manage these things, it starts affecting your ability to function. And when you can't function, you go to classes with a writer's block. And writer's block are things where you sit and you look at the very thing that you know and you can't do anything about it because it simply means your prefrontal cortex have not gotten the chance to rest. And that's where all your executive function takes place in the mind. And so you're not able to concentrate and you can't make appropriate decisions. So when you deal with hidden loads, whether grades, and sometimes it's all in our mind. Our thoughts influences our feelings and our feelings influences our actions. And you start to ask yourself, am I even good enough to be at university or in this particular class? And you start the thinking trap where you are either overgeneralizing your behavior, stating that, okay, because I had these sorts of grades or because I used to do this in high school, I may not be able to come to university and do this. So you start with a mindset where you are already feeling defeated, and then because you feel defeated, you start acting defeated, and then you give up. I can remember an instance where a student started thinking like this and just stopped going to classes altogether. The individual would come to school but don't go to class. And at the end of the semester, they were wondering, what to do with my life. Do not let that be you. If you are having challenges, speak to me, talk to someone who you trust from early so that you can put proper planning in place. So as you can see, as I said earlier, it's not just about schoolwork. If your mind is focused on your finances, then it's going to affect your ability to concentrate on your schoolwork. If you used to be the head cook and bottle washer at home in terms of getting things done, and you're no longer there because you're now at school, and if you're split between here and home, you will have to make a decision. Am I going to focus on school, or I will have to delegate responsibility, or find other ways of my family getting what they need without influencing affecting my education rather. And sometimes we even think ahead, maybe you have failed at something before and you think that, I failed this, I failed that, I was not good enough with this. And you start thinking, boy, I think I'm going to manage through university, I'm just going to go and do a thing and wing it as much as possible. That is also a defeating mentality. It will affect your ability when the going gets tough. In addition to that, relationships. And when I say relationships, this is not romantic relationships, but also platonic relationships. There are a lot of times that the things that we're dealing with affect our ability to be, to present ourselves positively to other people. So we feel that because we're new and you come and you size up everyone and you say, okay, these persons are very outgoing and I'm an introvert. I don't think I belong over there. So let me isolate myself. And I want to tell you from now, isolating is the first step in feeling defeated, because what that does is tear you down inside. And then once the mind keeps ruminating, going over and over on this, you start acting like it. And as such, you probably would go through a first semester or a month or two where you just go to class, don't talk to anyone. And then by the time you're supposed to be working with groups, you're having challenges relating to other people. And sometimes there are some things that would have happened prior to coming to the CMU that would have affected us negatively. And we think that, okay, this may be the same situations with people. So let me avoid people because I don't like people. Coming to the university, or any university as a matter of fact, you are going to be doing at least 60 or 70% of group work, right? And you will be working with other people. And your success is going to rely heavily on how well you will be able to do what you need to do to get yourself through university. As it relates to how you feel, a lot of times people take how they feel for granted. And they're saying, just play some music and I'll feel a little better. Or maybe I will just go sleep it off or walk it off. And you find that when you walk, you still feel the same way. When you went to bed, you woke up, you still feel the same way. Maybe you listen to some music and you still feel the same way. This is the time for you to understand that you are at your breaking point, or at the point where you may not be able to manage yourself anymore, because this feeling has become a little louder than anything else that you may be carrying. And I want you to understand that any challenge, be it a traumatic situation from your childhood into your teenage or your young adult years coming into adulthood, they don't disappear just because you stop thinking about them. They're still there. And sometimes the smallest thing that someone may say, a person might do, may trigger you, may cause you to relive, remember, reflect that particular situation, and it shows a different side of you that you didn't even know existed inside of you. So being able to understand that what you carry affects your ability to function personally, socially, and academically is very important. Another thing also that I want you to understand, that your identity coming to university may be something that is going to creep upon you. When you are at home, you may be the big brother, you may be the one that mommy rely on, you may be the big sister, the support in terms of whatever is needed for siblings, for ensuring the house gets everything that it needs and all of that. You are the identity in the home. When you are around your friends, you're not that person. You're a different person, whether you are the life of the party or you're the person that keeps the group together. You are another person also when you're in the classroom setting. No one person has the same personality in all settings. You're not the same person you are at church, school, home, class, or when you are by yourself, right? And this is why some people, when they're going, depending on the circumstances and the image that they want to present, especially for ladies, we'll dress up, we'll put our makeup on, we'll fix our hair, depending if it's an occasion, it's a professional occasion, you want to dress the part, you're going to a party or wherever, you dress the part. What does that say? You are bringing an image with you to these different settings because you have a goal that you are trying to meet. when you come to university, depending on the image that you are trying to present and who you really are, sometimes the two conflict with each other, and there's a challenge for you to either keep up or come to terms with what is it that you are really presenting. Is it true, false, and is it affecting your ability for others to see you the way that you want them to see you or not see you? And all of these are just some of the things that you take from home to wherever you go and come to the CMU. When you step inside a classroom, all of this situation walk with you to your desk in your mind, comes out through your thoughts and your action inside the classroom. Sometimes persons are empowered by their situations, sometimes it cripples other people. And so I don't want you to think that it's just your schoolwork that you need to be mindful of. All the other things that you don't deal with, or you've been saying, you know what, I'm taking this to my grave, or I'm putting it in file 13 in my brain because I don't want to talk about this issue I would have had with daddy, mommy, auntie, whether I was abused or otherwise. These are things you need to deal with and see how much they are impacting you or not in order for you to transition easily. So people would see smiling in classes, posting online, saying that they're good and still submitting work, but you still have those pressures, your unpaid bills, your anxiety and your poor sleep, and fear of disappointing others, because I know there will be some of you who are online currently that are coming to the CMU because you had a dream and you heard that the CMU can make that dream possible, as well as you're coming because mommy said, here what, CMU is more affordable and I think you should go there. And then you're going to have the conflict because you may be the parent online thinking that, okay, this is the best decision for my child that I'm making, and you did not discuss this with them. And when they get to school and realize that, hey, this is not for me and not what I want, and they start rebel, and you start to think, this person is ungrateful because they should be in university and I'm doing my best to send them here. All of these plays a part in academic success. We are not in isolation of the things that we carry. And anything that is there already that has not been dealt with is going to trigger along the way when the pressure starts rising in what you need to execute at school. So you need to know what stages you are when these circumstances happen. And as I shared earlier, stress, it's difficult, but manageable, because oftentimes when we are stressed, there are some things that we procrastinate on. There are things that we need to do, we don't do. There's things that we left piling and it keeps overloading, and we are broken down before we act. So you may feel pressure, but you can still function with support and planning. So know the difference between when stressed, overwhelmed, or in a crisis. When you are overwhelmed, this is when the load feels too heavy and you can't sleep, you can't focus, and your motivation is low. You don't want to get up out of your bed, you have the assignment to do, and you're waiting till the last minute to start it. In addition to that, when it's a crisis, a lot of times us as university students, and there are some persons who I would have interfaced with, believe that as the moment I'm stressed, it's a crisis. I need everybody to stop what they're doing to support me. You would have gotten the warning signs, you would have gotten the warning signs before it has gotten to this point. So stress, as I said, it's a normal part of life. It doesn't mean that something is wrong. It can motivate you, it can help you prepare. But when it becomes constant, this is always happening every day, and it starts affecting your sleep, it's affecting your concentration, it's affecting your relationships, it's beginning to affect your ability to function. When you need to pay attention, problems are easier to manage when they are small. Start when you just realize that this is going to be a challenge for me later if I don't deal with it now. Do not wait until the situation has become worse before you start asking for help. So, what are the warning signs you should not ignore? Your emotions. If you are constantly worrying about stuff, the least little thing happen, you're irritable, you become sad easily, and you lose motivation, you need to get support. Your body and behavior always speak before your words do. Physically, if you are feeling fatigue, headaches, poor sleep, and change in your appetite, there is something that is affecting you emotionally that is translating into your body. Because as I said before, and I want you to remember this, TFA, your thoughts affects your feelings, and then your feelings affect your action. And that's the same domino effect that I'm showing you on the screen right now. So when your emotions start to affect you physically, it comes out in your behavior. So you start with the action of isolating yourself. You start missing classes. You're having conflict, whether with parents or your roommates or your lecturers or your friends. And some people, because when they would have probably seen someone do this, or they would have heard through social media or otherwise that this is the best way. So some people start drinking. Some people may smoke. Some people may vape. For your information, young people, all of these are dangerous. And it starts to affect your ability to concentrate over time. Substance misuse, whether through drinking, smoking, or vaping, decreases your ability and to pay attention over an extended period of time. And so when these become your behavior, you start submitting your assignments late. Either you start avoiding things that you should be paying attention to because you're not focusing on anything at all. You are just running around, procrastinating, not trying to deal with things. And so you start failing silently. So many students wait a very long time. They wait until they're failing, they wait until they're burnt out, they wait until they feel completely overwhelmed. And then that's when the mind starts, whispering before it screams, right? Pay attention to the whisper, the loss of motivation, the constant exhaustion, the irritability, the isolation, the feelings that you're just surviving, meaning that you're just trying to get through today. You don't have a plan for tomorrow, the weekend, or next week. Those are surviving, not coping. And there's a difference between the two. Any of these signs that you may experience, they matter and they need attention. And that the sign says at the bottom of this slide, a warning sign is not weakness, it is information. So emotional readiness is not pretending. It's not I'm fine. It's for you to know what is happening inside of you and what is the next healthy step that you can take. So if you are one of those persons who love to bottle things up and act all strong and carry everything alone, sir or miss, there comes a day when all of that you're bottling out is going to reach the brim and it's going to spill. And sometimes many of us are not prepared for the spilling and how it will make us look, feel, and act. But readiness is when you can name what you are feeling, be able to reset, and reach out for support early. So a 60-second reset can look like this. Inhaling. So you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, and you repeat that twice. And so there is also that of a grounding technique. Now, grounding technique is when you use your senses, naming 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, 3 things you hear, 2 things you can touch, and 1 things you can focus on, all of that. And then you check in with yourself. What am I feeling? What do I need right now? And then you choose your next healthy action. And all of this you can do on your own and then reach out for support. So don't wait on things starting to spiral out before you decide that you are going to get the support that you need. So you need to pause before you react. Something triggered you and you get angry or you feel like you're going into panic mode. Pause, take a deep breath. What am I feeling? What am I thinking about? And choose the next wise step. Because guess what? When your emotions are high and thinking become a little bit harder, this can help you to create a space where you deal with what happens and how you respond to it. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause, not react, not send a text, not make the decision right there in that moment, especially when you are angry. Pause, take a breath, and choose your next steps carefully. I need you to also understand that sometimes when things get difficult, and they will, no one's life is without challenges. Even the people who have a lot of money have some challenges. When life gets difficult, everyone is trying to cope. And the question is not whether we cope, the question is how you cope. And some coping strategies heal, some can numb you, some can move you forward, and some can keep you stuck. Because if you think that smoking and drinking is a way to cope, that can keep you stuck. And that's another topic for another times in terms of what substance enhancement does for your body. Coming down quickly. Now, who is really in your corner? A support network is not about how many people you know. It's about who can help you when life gets heavy. Who is in your inner circle? Do you have trusted family members? And if you don't have any, I understand. Do you have close friends? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Do you have any peers that you think are safe? These are persons you know, as we would call them, ride or die. They will never let you down. They'll be there for you no matter what the circumstances. Whenever an emergency, you're having an emergency, it's their emergency too. They'll be there for you. These are people who you know personally and can offer you that support. Look at who is in your inner circle. Also, there's the guidance circle. These are your lecturers, your mentors, and your faculty advisors. And these are people who can guide you, your decisions, and help you navigate university life. Also, professional circle, which could be the university counselor, the students' affairs, or the medical team here. These are people who are trained to help you when problems become too heavy to manage alone. So I want you to make a quick note. What are my 3 layers of support before I need them? I need you to have this written down somewhere. Who are the people in your inner circle? When you get here, what's your guidance circle and your professional circle? Where can I find these people? How do I reach them when I need them? So you're going to put your support system together, not when you reach in the point of crisis, but just in case you need it. This will be your anchor. The people you trust, family, friend, your partner, somebody at your church, people who guide you, your lecturer, advisor, mentor, people who encourage you, your peer group, your church, your club, your community, or any professionals who can help you. Have that written down. And I want you to step away from the myth of doing it alone. Independence is healthy, but isolation is dangerous. If no one knows you are going through what you're going through, how will they be able to help you? How will they be of support if you share nothing? When we are in isolation, it's because of pride, shame, fear, and stigma. But if you go to trusted, trained person, honesty, And trust and early support can give you what you need, especially when you need it the most. So asking for help is not giving up. It is choosing not to break alone, and you have support. So I want to ask you to ask for help without feeling awkward, because sometimes we need the words before, we need to make the move. So maybe you can start at, I know I'm not okay, but I don't know how to explain it yet. I have had persons who have come to me and said, Miss, I don't feel good, but I'm not sure how to explain how I am feeling. Or you could say, can I talk to you privately? Or I am feeling overwhelmed and I need guidance. Sometimes people are afraid of the choice words because they don't want to seem desperate, or they don't want the situation to be blown up, or they don't want everybody in their business, so they're afraid to share what they're going through. And then what you do, you isolate and you compound, and that situation escalate without you even seeing it, because then your body start responding to the pain that you're carrying. Another way is that I'm struggling to keep up and I need support. Can you help me figure out my next step? These are some ways that you can ask for help without feeling awkward. So your healthy coping toolbox, if it's a mental situation, you can journal, do positive self-talk, do your problem solving. If it's physical, getting enough sleep, do some exercises, make sure you are eating and drinking. Also, cry if you need to, talk it out, get some support, talk to people who you trust. If you are spiritual, go to church, do a little reflection, academic plan, get a study group, or ask your lecturer early. Don't wait until it's exam time that you share that these are the things that have happening and you weren't able to submit your assignments or whatever it is that you were dealing with. Now, these are the biggies. When you are able to manage your money stress, your academic stress, and your relationship stress, you will be able to thrive here. Because sometimes people have financial challenges or troubles, and they don't talk about it. And so it affects schoolwork. Maybe you're a single parent and you're self-studying, self-funded, and you're coming back to school. Make a small plan. Ask early about scholarships or whatnot. Avoid silent panic and risky decisions that can make situations worse. Talk to your lecturers early and break assignments into steps and use your study partner or a study group. Do not wait until things have really gotten so bad to the point that you are not functioning. And that's what it is saying when it says, don't wait until you disappear. Check your boundaries. Avoid emotional decisions in heated moments and speak to someone safe before reacting. I know sometimes we hear the term me hot head, and if somebody style me, I go style them. If somebody diss me, I go diss them back. Always think, what is the goal? What will be the consequence to me when I would have executed such a behavior? How will that speak of me, and how will that help me through my professional journey if I give in to how I am feeling in that particular moment and respond negatively? So when a friend is struggling, you do not have to be their counselor. You can be their bridge to support. If you notice change in mood, sleep, class, attention, they're not coming, they're staying by themselves, you notice that they seem different, without judging or preaching or making their situation about you just because you and them are friend and them not tell you what them are go through, say business with them. It's not the approach. When persons are going through their challenges, depending on who, persons rather to keep that to themselves. And it's okay for people to keep their business to themselves without you thinking it's about you. But if you realize that they need support, be there for them. Connect them with support or professional help that can give them the support that they need. If safety is as risk, don't keep that a secret. If somebody tell you that they're going to kill themselves, be it your roommate, a classmate, and you hear them say, it's better me just go for the top of CMU, and God forbid, the top of CMU and jump off, do not keep that as a secret. And sometimes our peers speak to us before they speak to a lecturer, a classmate, or somebody who's living on the dorms or wherever. And these are things that tells you that someone is struggling and they need some help. So who are your support here at the CMU? The counseling unit, student affairs, your lecturers, and we do have a mentorship program, the medical officers, and we also can refer you to external support if you need this. So, and this is for you to do in your own time. And I don't want you to write what sounds good when you are writing this down. What am I carrying right now? Who can support me? What one action can I take this week? And you use this as your guide for your crisis intervention. So this is something I hope for you to share with yourself, that you're going to commit to taking care of your emotional well-being and reach out for support when you need it, and supporting others with compassion and respect. And I want you to say it, mean it, and practice it, because guess what? Practice becomes perfect. And whatever you confess, that is which you will possess. So here's my closing, and I want you to leave lighter, connected. Choose one person or a service you can reach out to. Choose one practical step that reduces your pressure instead of avoiding it. And have one honest conversation. Tell someone safe what is really going on, because guess what? You don't have to carry anything alone. So if you want to reach out to me, these are my contact details. Counseling at cmu.edu.jm. Also, the person with their microphone open. The person with their microphone open. Thank you. 1-876-322-7605, and you can find me there. All right, thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you. I'm not sure. Someone, can we figure out who has their microphone that's open? All right, thank you, TTT. The presentation there this morning. So the next session now is going to open the floor for questions that you have. It can be about the presentation. They can also not be about the presentation, but really, really important issues there this morning in terms of like mental health and feeling like emotional readiness and coping strategies. Trust me, I completely know and completely understand, having had to talk to counselors on more than one occasion simply because of the volume and different kinds of things that I'm doing. It's good to talk to somebody and also derive sort of different kind of coping strategies, as Mrs. Attorney Thomas was saying this morning. So what we'll do is that we're going to open the floor for different kind of questions. You can use the raise hand feature. You can put your questions in the chat. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was asking, I sent an email to receive the list for the housing list.
Oh, yes. I saw that. I spoke to the director of the deputy registrar, and we're supposed to be getting that list and adding it to the chat shortly, so you can have it directly instead of in email form.
Okay. And I haven't received much information on the tuition fees and all that, so I can get the pay them.
What program are you in?
Court management.
So we are finalizing some of the fees. That's why the most up-to-date fees are not available yet. What I can say is that the advice is, if you look on the CMU website, you will see what the current fees are while they are waiting for approval for the fees, what we're suggesting is that you calculate the whatever figure is on the fee, you add like 10% to it. This is a precaution. This is not us, this is not me confirming that the fees will increase for any given year by 10%. It may be that the fees, as we have been told by the Office of Treasury, do not increase at all. But just in, out of an abundance, or they increase by less than 10%, or they don't increase at all. So, but out of an abundance of caution, we're saying calculate it like that, and you'll have a sense of what the fees are for each year. Do you know how to get to that particular information on the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, if we didn't attend the early registration, the one in August is still valid? Right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
No problem. Charo in the chat, I see you say she missed a third Zoom meeting and do not see it on the previous video on YouTube. Is there any recording for the third meeting? Yes, we're having a little bit of difficulty with the third meeting. The third meeting will be loaded today as well as all of the presentations. That email that you get by MailChimp that tells you when the next session is has links to at the bottom. One set of links are to the previous presentations, which are always going to be loaded on YouTube. And then another set of links are to as in the video presentations, as in the recording of this meeting. And another box or link will be to each PowerPoint presentation. So those will be loaded as they go along. But specifically in relation to the third meeting, we're having a great deal of difficulty loading the video, but that will be up by midnight tonight. You're welcome. Any others? I'm hearing next, Mr. Marriott. I'm seeing in the chat right there what the next step after registration. Or Mrs. Walker Brown.
Good morning, Sir Archibald.
Next step after registration. Morning.
After registration, the next step is orientation. And information regarding orientation will be sent or has been sent to all our students regarding the date and the different times that are slated. Registration just for information purpose, even though you would have gotten communique or will get communique, or registration. Another bout of registration will be held in the month of August. So we had early registration for the month of May. For the month of August, another bout of registration will ensue. And then thereafter, shortly after that, we'll have our orientation process. And orientation actually commences in August. So the last 2 days in August, that's August 30 and 31st. Through to September 1st. September 1st. So August 31st, 31st, and September 1st will be our orientation sessions. And you will receive information regarding that. At orientation, you are given information in a fulsome way on the university, its services, and you are also guided accordingly for the academic component of your program. So that's where we move from here, Sir Gordon.
And how soon can we get an update to know if we're eligible for boarding, and what's the update? Well, for boarding specifically.
Remember at the last meeting, I told persons that all applicants are given a deadline through to June 30. So the processing, because we're waiting for all the applications to come in, that's when application closes on June 30. Thereafter, we will start the assessment of all documentation, and persons will hear from us. Either they have received boarding, they have been placed on a waiting list, they are guided that they are not accepted. So either of those statuses will be communicated after the 30th of June. So Gordon, are you here? So if we check in the chat, we will see that Director Henderson would have placed the registration information there for all of us to be guided accordingly. And he will also place information regarding external housing in the chat for individuals who have been asking about that.
Okay, Mrs. Walker-Brown, I have an emergency, so can you just answer a couple of questions for me while I sort through this?
Certainly, Sir Gordon. How much time do I have?
Probably about 10 minutes. If we don't have any more, if we have any more questions, we can just answer questions right now. If you have your questions, just use the raise hand feature. Mrs. Walker-Brown will be here with you for probably about the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll close. If there aren't any questions, we'll just close.
Beautiful. So I'm giving persons the opportunity to go ahead and ask your questions. The floor is open. Who will go next?
Hello?
Go right ahead with your question.
Yes, hello. My name is Sharu. And in regards for the orientation, I was asking the question in the chat if for all 3 days you have to go there physically for attendance, because I live very far and going there for the 3 days is kind of overbearing for me to attend.
All right, for the first day of orientation, which starts out on the Sunday, right? We are expecting persons to be here in person. For the second day, though, we'll have virtual orientation as well as in-person orientation. So individuals who are not able to join us on the Monday, which is the official opening exercise, we will be streaming on our YouTube channel, right? Even though we encourage persons to ensure that you are here physically, because it makes a difference when you are here physically and when you join us online. But that orientation session for the Monday, which is the 31st, will also be virtually done and recorded. So individuals can join via our YouTube channel or ensure that you can watch it after. For the Tuesday session, which is the final session and involves your academic advisement, you will be meeting with your faculties, and you are also guided to come here in person, even though there is an online component to that session, right? So each faculty will have their online information being placed online. So you can also join online, but we encourage you to come in person. So again, the first day of orientation is an in-person alone activity. The other 2 days, the Monday and the Tuesday, we will have virtual sessions, but we are encouraging you to be here in person. Next question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
Yes, good afternoon. I applied.
Yes, it's afternoon. Good morning, Rahana.
Good afternoon. I applied on May the 17th. Last week, I spoke to one of the team members and they said that I should receive an email, and I have not received an email or any updates.
All right, Rihanna, could you just give me your full name is Rihanna Kelly, Rahana Kelly. What is your contact number?
876-515-9991.
So it's 876-559?
No, 515.
515-9991.
Yes.
All right, Rana, I'll have someone call you to guide you accordingly.
Okay.
Next question. Are there any other questions?
Yeah.
All right. It seems as if all your questions have been answered, either in the chat or on previous sessions. So I am going to close out. If there are no other questions, I'm giving you a last chance to ask your questions. If there are no other questions, we are going to end this session and then we'll meet you for the next Getting Ready series in August. Again, are there any other questions? Archibald Gordon, over to you.
I don't have much to say other than that, other than just to remind everybody, to thank you for coming. Thank Mrs. Walker-Brown there for solving this issue for me. There's a question about dress code for orientation. Remind us again, please.
Right, for orientation, we're asking you to dress in a professional way. We don't want to see anybody, literally dragging themselves here. We want you to, even though we're not requiring you to be in uniform, those persons who have their uniforms though, and wish to wear them, you can wear them for the session. Those individuals who haven't gotten your uniforms, we're asking you to ensure that you're in a professional attire. All right, so we don't want to see any jeans. We want to see you in a professional wear. All right.
Can you pay first year and second year tuition money same time? I would imagine so.
I wouldn't encourage you to do so, because remember, the fees change, or there's a possibility that the fees will change yearly. And so we, among other things, because there is also progression information. If you're not going to be advancing to second year, you may need to deal with that part. So I wouldn't encourage anybody to do that. If you have the excess money, put it on a little fixed deposit, make it steady and grow a little something while you wait until the next year.
I put, what is this? Should we register before orientation? These are rapidly populating the chat. Should register before orientation.
So registration is a process that should occur before orientation, but if it is you're not registered for the time of orientation, we're encouraging you to come to the orientation session. Do not stay away, because if you register thereafter, you will need the information to guide you accordingly. So yes, you can come to orientation without registering, but we encourage you to ensure that your registration is sorted out prior to the orientation session.
I have sent my application yesterday. Will an email be sent to me with further updates, and how soon will that be?
You are so previous. So your application was sent yesterday, and certainly the processing will happen. Our admissions team, they are on target. They are monitoring and ensuring that they're responding to persons accordingly. So yes, you will receive a response. I can't say how soon, but we're trying to target addressing once it is that you have completed the application form in a fulsome way. It's not in draft, because if it is in draft, then it means that it would not have been submitted to. And that's another segment that we're going to be moving on, to call those persons in draft to encourage them to complete their application process. We cannot move it forward if it is still in the draft stage. So it's important for you to move your applications out of the draft stage and press submitted. Once it is submitted, you will receive a response from one of our officers.
And there is also with the timetable, how soon for timetables, especially for those who work?
So we understand how excited you are about joining the university. Timetables are usually produced at our orientation session when you have your academic advising component. That's the time when you will meet up with your faculty, and your respective deans will communicate to you how you can access your timetables for programs.
Is there anything else I'm seeing in the chat? If you haven't taken your ID picture on early registration, which orientation day can you take it? We don't know that yet, I would assume.
Right, but remember that there are other orientation sessions that will be held for the month of August. In addition to that, yes, you can have your ID taken after even during the orientation session, after the orientation session rather. So if it is that you have not gotten that done, you can still get it done thereafter.
Shaniqua, can you explain this? You say if you only gotten an orientation letter, is that supposed to be the acceptance letter?
Yes, good morning again. Because I've only gotten an orientation letter stating the date of the orientation, and I haven't gotten any other letter. So I was kind of confused.
But that's information regarding the orientation session, right? With the dates for the orientation. Note, you would have gotten an acceptance letter when you submitted your application, and the application would have been processed. And now that you're accepted, you'd have gotten that acceptance letter. Thereafter, information regarding our orientation activity will be sent to you. And if you receive that communique, that's information being given to you regarding the orientation exercise that will happen in the month of August through to September. At the orientation session, when you get here, you'll be given additional information regarding the entire university and your program of choice.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Do I still need to come to registration even though I haven't been accepted yet?
Which are details put the right under this here to me?
A microphone is on. Peter Gay, Walker, Thompson. Right, thank you for meeting. Thank you. So your question was, do I still need to come to registration even though I haven't been accepted yet? You cannot come to registration until you've received acceptance to the university. So once you've received acceptance, that's when you will be engaged with the registration component. Just ensure that you have submitted your application to the CMU for your particular program of choice.
All right, the month. Okay. Registration fee deadline. I assume you're talking about the commitment fee rather than registration fee. So you're supposed to pay.
Once you have received acceptance to your program of choice, then before you come to the registration exercise, you ought to pay that commitment fee. Bring the proof of payment when you're coming to get registered.
So it's not a registration fee, it's a commitment fee, and it's not an additional
It's a commitment fee. It is a commitment fee. It is added. So once it is that you have been accepted into a program of your choice, then you are given information regarding that. You pay the commitment fee, come deal with your registration and all of that you need to. That commitment fee indicates to the university that I am interested in coming to the university. I am making all the preparations to come and to, so it's like a holding fee, right? So it holds that spot for you. And when it is that you come to register, it is added to the fee that you pay for your program of study. So it's not an additional fee. It is going to be calculated in the overall program tuition fee that you pay.
I think let's just clarify the acceptance process again, because this is how do you know that you've been accepted? What are you looking for exactly?
So if it is that you've been accepted, you will receive an acceptance letter, right? That acceptance letter will be emailed to you stating that congratulations. And let me look for a name here. Congratulations, Melissa. You have been accepted to the university, to the Caribbean Maritime University, and all of that pretty jazz will follow through and will guide you towards to what you need to do. So that letter is that official communique from the university that you have been accepted in your program of choice.
There's a question from Tiffany. A rough estimate of how long we take to look at an application. Tiffany wants that. Tiffany Gray.
Tiffany, I'm not able to provide you with that direct response because there are several factors that will come to bearing on our officers responding to you. There are so many things that are happening at different given time. They have for each person, but one thing you must keep in mind is that you will receive information regarding your acceptance to the university, whether or not you have received acceptance, because we have to process your application. And for some persons who have applied for particular programs like the Faculty of Marine and Nautical Studies, it takes a while. And there are several things that you will have to do before you are given the acceptance letter. So you may need to do a medical, you may need to do a drug test, you may need to engage in what they call indoctrination process and pass through that. So there are several arms and components. And then for other persons, you may have applied, but you may not meet the matriculation requirement, then you're going to receive information regarding how you move forward, because you may have 7 subjects, but you don't have math and English. What is the university willing to do to assist those individuals to get the math and English through, or remind me, Archie, through our program that assists persons with the math and English, or foundation courses, right? Thank you for that, right? So, you know, there are things like that. And if you have all the required subjects for the area that you've applied to, then they will go through, assess your application, and then your dean, faculty dean, will make a determination. Then we move forward with contacting you. So no, I cannot provide you with a timeline.
Tiffany has a particular problem. She wants to know if between now and the end of the month, if she can, she is employed, and so she needs to kind of sort that out with the employees. She wants to have a rough estimate of whether she can expect that you know, she'll get an answer by the end of the month.
She should be able to get an answer by the end of the month. I can say that definitively. Tiffany, what's your last name?
Gray, G-R-A-Y.
All right, thank you.
Mona, am I missing any questions? Sometimes it's really just easier to open the mic and ask your questions, you know, because we're scrolling
That's
up
right,
and you might miss your questions as you go along.
Right.
So, you know, open your mic and ask your questions. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. All right,
Sir Henderson, I know you're online. Were you able to place in the chat the external boarding list?
Yes, it was.
So for persons who've been asking about the external boarding list, it has been placed in the chat. You can go back, review, and you can make your selections.
Akeem,
yes, Akeem, your hand is raised.
Good afternoon. Question, when will the updated tuition fee be available? So I understand for registration, we have received the 2015 breakdown, 2025 breakdown. Would the 2026 be available anytime soon?
Sir Gordon, you can respond to that question.
All right, Akeem, I'm gonna get on the phone and talk to the people from the Office of the Treasury. I'm not sure that one of them is in to see if they're closer to a particular answer for that. But what we know for the time being is that you can do a rough calculation of what the fee may be by looking on the website for the fee for the particular year and assuming that it will increase by no more than 10%, and it's possible that it will increase by 0%. So asking you to do a rough check. I'll get on if anyone else has a question, in the meantime, we'll just answer that question and I'll get on the phone and call somebody and find out what that answer is.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Sorry. I'm seeing a question from Bianca asking which chat is the link in. I don't know what link you're referring to, but if you could just place what link.
I think that's the boarding list. Bianca wanted
the boarding list. If you look right above your question, you'll see the boarding list. Beautiful, Bianca. Any other questions? Do we have any other questions for Purse from the floor?
All right, so that looks like that is it for today. So again, I want to thank Mrs. Walker-Brown and all of the other members of the Office of University Registrar / Administration the members of faculty who are here, the members of various departments who are really helping making this happen. And in particular, TTT today, Tina Turner Thomas, who had the presentation today. Beautiful presentation.
Yes,
and I know it's not
thank you,
the kind of
Counsellor.
thing that people talk about. We don't want anybody to know that we're not Superman and Superwoman, but it really is very serious. It really is very serious. To share my own personal example, I have to program my mind every morning. And by that, I mean I take a long walk on many mornings, and I am very deliberate about what I am listening to. So I'm listening to something that reminds me, to be grateful about the nature of life, those kinds of things. To some music, a good amount of exercise so you can get some endorphins in your body. If people know Legally Blonde, endorphins make people happy. Happy people don't kill people. Not a joke. So, we walk. I walk for probably about an hour. Very, very long walk. I look outside. I make sure you get outside. You meet people. You see, you see the creation that, that God has given, what God has created. And I listen to positive things, because when you're dealing with a lot, you're dealing with a lot all the time. And it's easy to think that you are doing something wrong, and that, if you were doing it right, life would be perfect and it wouldn't have struggle. But life just has a lot of ups and downs. And it really, just like anything else, as I've learned over time, is about exercising that muscle of keeping yourself not positive for everything, because you're going to have challenges, and it's okay to deal with those challenges, to cry, to do any of those different kinds of things, but just to train that muscle of learning how to deal with the ups and downs of life. So I have to do it every day, all the time. So, it's something that we take. It's something we take for granted, but it is like on my calendar every day, in the morning and very often in the evening. I go for a walk, I listen to something positive, I listen to things that help me solve problems. Is something I do every day. And in my other jobs where I sit down and I interview people, lots of people who are productive, whatever they do it, whether it is for you some sort of devotional, whether you spend time with your family and connecting with friends, there's some sort of process that they do on a daily basis, just to, it's exercise. It's exercise like anything else. And the mind, very, very powerful thing, can make you or break you. So I want to thank her for that presentation. Thank all of you for for being here with us today. And our next presentation is next week, Thursday, same time, same place, same process. We will share some information that's important to you. We'll open the floor for questions. We'll continue to answer your questions. And again, you'll be able to find a recording of this on our YouTube page. The latest recordings today and last week will be uploaded by the end of today into tomorrow morning, and as well the PowerPoint presentations or whatever other kind of form of presentations that are made. You will also find them in the folder. So again, thank you and have a wonderful rest of afternoon.